James Brown grew up in extreme poverty.
He's special, boy. One day, he ain't gotta go nowhere.
But his talent and ambition got him noticed.
Well, I call it James Brown music because it's so far ahead of its time. They ain't got a name for it yet.
His rise to be one of the most influential recording artists in history is chronicled in Get On Up.
Hi, I'm Zorianna, and I'm here with Leah and Katherine, and we're here today to review the new James Brown biopic, Get On Up. We've all just seen it. Leah, what'd you think?
Well, you know, there's been a lot of controversy out there about this film. Spike Lee was originally on deck to direct this film.
With Wesley Snipes starring.
A whole bunch of people were going to star. But, he and Brian Grazer, one of the producers of the film, came to a difference of opinion. He was let go, and then they brought in Tate Taylor, who we know is the director of 2011's The Help.
Yes, Oscar nominated, but that was his only film.
Right.
No prior credits beforehand.
That was it. So, clearly he is not quite as polished or skillful in his direction. And with that said, I think that for me, what makes this film is Chadwick Boseman's performance. That, coupled with the James Brown catalog, you will never fail to be entertained in the film.
I mean, I agree with you. Chad Boseman is this movie. And what this script does is it takes away the caricature and really humanizes the legend that is James Brown, that he was destined for music despite his circumstances, that he was a smart businessman, that he was fiercely, fiercely loyal to those around him. Those who came up with him early, he kept as long as he could. And those types of aspects, positive aspects that I really enjoyed without sacrificing some of the less pretty aspects of his life.
Well, I was really looking forward to this film. I've heard about it for a long time. I've been very aware of James Brown because being a fan of Michael Jackson and Prince, and this is the man that they all emulated. And also because Mick Jagger was involved with this film. I mean, he really, as a producer, really got this film made. So I was expecting great things from the musical sequences, which I think were brilliant. I found Tate Taylor's direction a little disturbing because he decided to do non-linear, which I think was a great idea. But when you're watching it, you have to really get into that idea that it's really jumping time sequences all the time.
Especially like the first 15 minutes, you're like in 3 different time periods. It was a little jarring to it took a while to get settled into the material because of that jumping.
Well, Tate Taylor's, this is his sophomore outing, right? And I appreciate the fact that he's trying to add a little directorial flourish here. But he mixes these different techniques in an effort to be more cinematic, but he handles them clumsily. He doesn't really use them to full effect in terms of moving the story along or revealing something about character. And it's a little bit more like trickery, and I found it to be disruptive when those were moments that could have been better served to give us less of the legend, which it supports, and more of the importance of what James Brown contributed to culture and society. I mean, the film really kind of trivializes his contribution, and so it loses its weight and becomes kind of fluff.
But I did enjoy watching his life unfold from childhood until death.
You don't think that they tried to take on too much? I mean, chronicling a whole life can be sprawling sometimes.
I mean, the other option would have been to just take a portion of his life and just focus the film solely on that. But the basics, which is a stellar performance by Chadwick Boseman, and the music, those are the 2 most important elements. They're there, and that's what makes this film worthwhile.
I live in Brooklyn. My baby playing at the Apollo.
I don't want you to feel proud. I ain't your sugar, I ain't your baby. Not then, not now. And I don't want you to tell nobody you my mama. It's me and you know that ain't true.
I actually did like that we do go back to his childhood because that's probably the part of James Brown's story that I didn't know very well. And I do like seeing where he came from, where his origin was, the poverty, the abandonment by his parents. I actually really enjoyed seeing that.
And we learn that's what motivates him.
Yeah, yes. So I'm glad they put that in. But I agree with you, the musical performances and Chadwick is extraordinary. I mean, the way he transforms himself, and let's face it, he almost became larger than life and a character of his own self, you know, and he was sent up so many times by, you know, Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live.
And his own bandmates, as we see in the film.
Exactly. So how do you portray that? And Chadwick just does this extraordinary job, I think, of really capturing him, his voice, his moves, his splits. Yeah. I mean, apparently he had to do 90 splits one day when they were filming, so all hands to Chadwick. That was amazing. So I think his performance really the standout.
This is
really
his race.
Right.
I love to see icons humanized. Their stories provide hope for those who might have dreams of their own. So I say see it.
Definitely not your conventional biopic, but I still think this is a great story about an American music legend. So I have to say, I feel good. See it.
Chadwick Boseman's performance and the James Brown catalog make you want to get on up. See it. Cheers. So much for it being a man's world.
Well, it wouldn't be nothing without a woman.
This reviewer is a sex machine. See it?